What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. I am solo to start the show for a minute, but we'll get Jake in here when he's ready and when he's available. He's on his way home from work. So other than that, we're going to get going, and the Brewers and Phillies are also going, so we're going to have both of those going at the same time.
Welcome to another live episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we discuss the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers football, and basketball from an optimistic perspective. Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so welcome back again to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. It is just me for now. Jake is going to be here when he can. Jake is currently on his way home from work. There was an accident on his way home from work, so Jake's not in the accident, but he is being delayed by one. But today our plan is to kind of do some live updates as the Brewers and Phillies are going on. Full disclosure, I have it open on another window, so I'm looking at both screens at the same time to pay attention to the Brewers game that is currently going on. And then we're also going to discuss the third and fourth games from the Cubs series, the series against the White Sox, and then the first two games of this Phillies series in between innings and during breaks as they happen. So I want to throw this out there. The Brewers are currently in the bottom of the fourth inning. So we'll pick it up from here, and I'll catch the game up as it's been so far. But I want to let everybody know there will be a post going out probably today that our Milwaukee Bucks offseason plan is set. It's going to be June 14th, next Friday. We're going to have draft prospects, free agents, and we're doing those differently. We're not doing them by position. We're doing them by role. So for the draft prospects, we're looking at 3-and-D players, floor spacing bigs, defensive specialists, buckets, backup point guards, and more. And then we're sorting our free agents the same way. And then we're going to discuss some combinations of the two that we hope to see and that we would like to see work out for the Bucks. And then in addition to that, we're also going to come up with some potential trade ideas should the Milwaukee Bucks and John Horst be interested in upgrading their roster through a trade. So that's going to be next Friday on its own. It'll probably be 8 o'clock, like our usual Friday nights are when we do them. Our Packers shows have moved to Tuesdays, so we don't have to worry about those on Friday nights anymore, so people will have a little more time to watch those during the season. And other than that, we can pick up where the Brewers are at with the Phillies right now. They're in the bottom of the fourth, and Aaron Ashby is pitching today. And he's pitching because Robert Gosser is dealing with a flexor strain, and he's going to get a second opinion on it. Right now, he's on the 15-day injured list. There is some optimism as far as Pat Murphy's concerned that it could be a short-term injury, that it's just tightness, soreness, discomfort, and nothing more serious, but we'll see when he gets that second opinion. Tobias Myers was also called up today, so he is also with the Brewers, so potentially making a start in the rotation as well. Other than that, where we're at with Aaron Ashby, he's in the bottom of the fourth inning. So far, he looks pretty good. We talked about him during the Patreon watch party last night, and where we're at with Aaron Ashby is his last two outings in AAA were really good. The previous few were a little rough, a little rocky, still coming back from that shoulder injury. They've been talking about it during the broadcast today that he's still trying to get his velocity back up to where it was, that 97 or so miles an hour that he's capable of hitting with his fastball. I'm going to look and see. His highest today is 96.4. So he's pretty close to that velocity. So he's got to be pretty close to 100%, I would think, based on that. Honestly, so far, what's impressed me with Aaron Ashby today has been his changeup. His changeup has looked really good. Got Ortiz. Nice play. So we're in the bottom of the fourth. Aaron Ashby just got a ground ball. Joey Ortiz backhanded it, threw across the diamond. I'm going to say this again because we talked about it. I asked Jake a question about Joey Ortiz yesterday, and I'm going to say what I said on the opportunity cost of trading Willie Adames for the people that wanted to do that 2 weeks ago. I don't want to take Joey Ortiz away from third base. That's been a discussion as far as Willie Adames is concerned. Oh, you just moved Joey Ortiz to third base or Joey Ortiz to shortstop. I don't want to take Joey Ortiz away from third base. I think he's been playing very, very good defensive third base. Obviously, he was NL Rookie of the Month for the month of May. The question I posed to Jake last night, Ashby's got Merrifield down 0-2. The question I posed to Jake last night was, is Joey Ortiz where he's at now, and assuming he continues to progress just at a normal rate, doesn't have to be anything crazy, doesn't have to assume that he's got superstar potential or anything, but just assuming that he gets better at just a normal progression, does Joey Ortiz single-handedly make the Corbin Burnes trade worth it for 1 year of Corbin Burnes? That's the question I posed to Jake, and Jake and I are both in agreement that the answer is yes. Another clean inning from Aaron Ashby. So Ashby is through 4 innings at 73 pitches. That's not too bad. I'd like to see that pitch count a little bit lower and see the command be a little bit better. I was looking at his pitch illustrator, and it's a little not concerning by any means, but it's just a little off. I'll put it up on the screen here so we can see it. So looking at Aaron Ashby, the things that are concerning, I guess if you want to use that word, or if you just want to say like opportunities for improvement is usually the way we try to look at it, is just these sliders that are up here. Just the ones that are above the upper third. The sliders are ones you usually want to keep low, because if you hang a slider in somewhere like this, this is where, this ball should have been called a strike, but it was called a ball. But just ones that if a guy is sitting for a slider, that could be potentially a hard hit ball. All in all, I think Ashby's pitching pretty well, so I'm not gonna complain there. But we'll see what happens with the rest of this game. So far, so good, and hopefully more good things from Aaron Ashby as far as this game is concerned. We talked about last night and the day before on the Phillies. So going back to Game 1 in the Phillies series, they used Jared Koenig as the opener. Mainly for Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Those two, they have some kind of weird splits. Like they don't quite fit the mold as far as the general league is concerned. As far as lefty on lefty matchups, they're both actually like either better or pretty similar lefty righty. But it's more so than at that point about getting Bryce Wilson and Colin Ray away from having to face those two multiple times or a third time through the order. That way, when they're going through the order the third time, they're starting at the 4th, 5th, or 6th hitter. That's the logic with Jared Koenig. And when I talk about last night's game, I'm going to discuss how it's gone, because there's still people calling it gimmicky and shenanigans, and it's just not. It's a sound strategy, and so far, every time it's been done, it's worked well. Jared Koenig has done good things as far as opening games is concerned. So we're in the top of the 5th. Rhys Hoskins is leading off. Takes a strike. And in Game 1, we're going against Zach Wheeler. He's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. He's definitely one of the best pitchers in the National League. And he was, I think he finished 3rd the year that Corbin Burnes won his Cy Young Award. So he's got Cy Young level pitching ability. The Brewers were able to break their shutout in the 7th inning thanks to the Rhys Hoskins solo home run. So the Brewers, it's tough. You have to pick and choose where you be aggressive. Jake Bauers was held with nobody out and the top of the order coming up. So the Brewers loaded the bases, ultimately didn't score. Bryce Durang had a tapper that ended up being a double play, a home to first double play, and Jake Bauers was held. You're talking about holding a runner with the top of your order coming up. If those are the guys that are going to get you hits and help you deliver runs, if the bottom of the order is getting on base for the top of the order, that's what they're supposed to do. Rhys Hoskins had a grounder as a wide throw, but Harper put the tag on him. So that, also with Jake Bauers, the ball that was hit, the one that he ended up being held at third base, was a ball that was kind of hit through the middle of the infield. So he kind of froze to make sure it was going to get through, and then he was a little bit late. So if he had been sent, he might have been out. We're kind of at a point with Jason Lane where everybody's just questioning every single thing that's being done, except for when he's sending guys and they score. Being a third base coach is a kind of a thankless job. One of those ones where you only hear your name being brought up if you're not doing things well or if things aren't going well. But then later on, Rhys Hoskins was sent. He got tagged out at home. A perfect throw, really. The throw from the outfield to home plate was 97.4 miles an hour. So that was a great throw by the outfielder, and Rhys Hoskins got tagged out at home. Just kind of a imperfect storm as far as the Brewers are concerned about trying to get runs on the board that day. And then I want to give credit. We talked about it a little bit during last night's watch party. Phillies fans being classy for Rhys Hoskins, showing him the love. Appreciate that. And as far as the third inning, that's where the Brewers had their bases loaded with nobody out. This I looked into. I made a short video about it and posted it yesterday. The Brewers with runners in scoring position versus how they are with bases loaded. Now, it's kind of a weird thing because obviously bases loaded counts as runners in scoring position, so that factors into these numbers. But just the way the Brewers are regularly with runners in scoring position versus how they are with the bases loaded. Sal Frelick flew out to center. So 2 outs in the top of the 5th. So bases loaded. The Brewers bat .292. That's third in the league. On-base percentage is .373. Also third in the league. Slugging .506. That's number 2 in baseball. This is all going into yesterday, so this doesn't include last night's numbers. They had the number 14 strikeout percentage, number 13 walk percentage, number 8 hard hit percentage, and they were number 1 on batting average on balls in play. That's BABIP for stat heads. Number 1 at .342 batting average on balls in play. So looking at bases loaded, obviously the conversation is that they're near the bottom of the league. Number 27 in batting average, number 23 in on base percentage, number 27 in slugging, number 11 in walk percentage, so that does go up a little bit. Number 25 in BABIP, and for me, it came down to 2 numbers that really explain the rest of the numbers. And the 2 numbers are the strikeout percentage and the hard hit percentage. Joey Ortiz as a tapper. That'll be another 1-2-3 inning for the Brewers, man. Aaron Nola is just rolling right along. Okay, so the 2 numbers for me that explain the Brewers with runners in scoring position struggles are strikeout percentage. They go from number 14 with runners in scoring position to number 2 with the bases loaded. 31.1%. That's nearly 9% higher than their average with runners in scoring position. So that's a huge increase, almost 9% increase in strikeouts with runners in scoring position versus runners in bases loaded situations. And then the hard hit percentage goes from 32% with runners in scoring position down to 17.6% with the bases loaded. So they're getting a lot of weak contact. That's how we've seen a couple times during the White Sox series. And again, in that game on Monday with the Brewers grounding into some double plays on some soft contact. Now, Jake and I discussed this a little bit. I think it kind of comes down to the approach, whether it's guys being a little bit less disciplined, guys just looking to, just trying to put the ball in gaps, or if they're just trying to get a little bit greedy and getting away from their regular approach a little bit. I can't say that. That's purely speculation. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm just trying to interpret numbers. I don't think it's that they're just going up there like blindly hacking. Like, I don't think that's something when you get to the professional level, guys are just going up there and just swinging at everything for no reason. Like, I don't think that's something that Major League Baseball players are doing, especially for one that's with runners in scoring position. The Brewers have been one of the best in the Major League Baseball. So for me, I think it's just approach. They just have to approach with bases loaded similarly to the way that they do just with runners in scoring position, whether it's first and second and third, just guys on second, any of those situations, and just stay disciplined and be willing to take, opposite field approaches or wherever the pitch is going to take you, or unfortunately it might mean taking some closer pitches once in a while just to, not necessarily swing at something you don't want to swing at just for the sake of swinging the bat with the bases loaded. We've seen, unfortunately, some relatively ugly strikeouts when it comes to bases loaded situations, and obviously that's something we'd like to avoid. So that's where, again, I'm going to go back to shortening up the swing and just fouling off pitches and live to see another day. So now we're into the bottom of the 5th inning, and Aaron Ashby's back out there, which is good to see. Would love for Aaron Ashby to give 5 scoreless innings. That would be great. Jake and I talked about this fairly amount of yesterday during the watch party. The Brewers and Phillies being number 1 and number 2 in Major League Baseball in scoring, both averaging over 5 runs a game, Game 1 being 2-1, and then last night being 3-1. Or other way around. 3-1, and then 2-1 last night. And now we're in the 5th inning of this game, and it's 0-0. Ashby gave up a leadoff walk. Phillies squaring the bunt. Really? Jeff Levering just said on the broadcast that was the first time a Philly had swung at a first pitch by Ashby. So they're definitely testing his command. Something he has struggled with. Like I said, his last 2 appearances in AAA were both really good, so that's really encouraging. And so far, the way he's pitching today against one of the best offenses in baseball is definitely encouraging as well. That'll be strike 2. If you aren't subscribed to us on Patreon, we do live watch parties on Patreon. We're going to do our own post-game shows and give you kind of a little sneak preview of what that looks like. We throw on the old studio background, make it look real official. Throw on some button-ups or some polos and get all official with our pregame show. Lots and lots of information flying through those pregame shows. Lots of information going in those. Doing it, one game at a time for Patreon allows us to zoom in much more closely on individual games that if we did that on our regular Wednesday shows, we'd be here for 6 hours. Ooh, that was a close pitch. We'd be here for a long time if we put all the information that we do on our Patreon shows into the Wednesday shows. The next one coming up is June 30th, so there is some time to sign up for that if you are interested in it. Just search Wisco Fanatics on Patreon, and we'll definitely have some more posts going on that. Pache worked 0-2 back to 3-2. Would love for Ashby to finish this one off with a strikeout. Not sure you're going to get a double play on Pache. Unless he hits one right to somebody. And he walked him. That's tough. All right. Well, it's Chris Hook coming out, not Pat Murphy.
What up, dude?
What's up? Just carrying the show like usual.
Yeah, it's pretty normal of you. Oh, how's it going? I haven't been able to check anything with the Brewers.
We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ashby has 2 leadoff walks so far in the 5th, but overall, it's a 0-0 game. He's been pitching pretty well. I like how his changeup looks so far this game. His slider he needs to keep down a little bit, but other than that, no complaints. Would have liked to strike out there instead of a walk, but I get trying to get the number 9 hitter to chase maybe a little bit off the plate.
Yep.
We'll see how Ashby does against Kyle Schwarber. If he can get out of this, I would be extremely impressed with Aaron Ashby. That would be a huge confidence boost for him and I think for fans as far as Ashby is concerned.
Yeah, if we can get Ashby to be the Ashby that we're paying for, then yeah, I think that's going to be a huge boost for the team in general, man. So sinker, changeup, slider, curveball. Okay. 0-0 game, another low-scoring game.
Nice
pitch.
Welcome to the show. I was just saying that the Brewers being in a 3-1 game on Monday and a 2-1 game last night, and now a 0-0 pitching duel against one of the better pitchers in the National League. There's a grounder.
Nothing else.
Schwarber's fat and slow. Nice. Attaboy, Ashby. Nicely done. That was nicely done, Ashby. Very, very nicely done.
Big time double play. We like those.
That was huge. Would love it if Ashby could finish this inning. Oh, that was nice. Oh, I would love for Ashby to wrap up 5 scoreless innings, 86 to 88 pitches. Lands a curveball for a strike. Oh, that double play could be a huge turning point for him.
Oh. I mean, we've said for the last couple of years that Ashby has the stuff. Like, that's pretty obvious. So.
Well, there it is. Castellanos again. Damn.
Change up.
Of course, it would be his changeup. Pitch that I think he was doing pretty well with today.
It's only 2, so it could have been a lot worse, honestly, if they
That's a
didn't
good
get that
pitch,
play.
too. That's not even a bad pitch.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom of the zone. Damn. Like Castellanos hurting you 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes that double play even bigger. If Schwarber had been able to get on base somehow, I mean, you're looking at a potential grand slam or even a 3-run home run.
All right.
So it's still important to have gotten that double play.
Let's get out of this inning. Down 2. That's not terrible. Who's up to bat next year?
It's Harper. After Harper?
No. For the Brewers, next inning, next half inning. Good question.
It's one over the minimum, so.
Oh, that was an excuse me. Harper's got 2 lefts today, huh?
It might be Sal.
Okay.
Nice pitch, Ashby. That was a sinker right on the corner.
The green mixed in with the red, white, and blue. That's weird.
It's the Fanatic.
Good call.
That's what it's for. Man. Outside of that Castellanos home run, Ashby has been fantastic, honestly.
Yeah.
It's going to be Perkins? Totally guessing right now. Sanchez, then Perkins.
Okay.
And Nola has not thrown a lot of pitches so far. He's at 59 pitches through 5 innings.
That's not great news.
Yeah, averaging about 12 pitches an inning. The Brewers so far have gone 1-2-3, 1-2-3, single, then 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and 1-2-3.
Jesus.
Is there any thoughts that you wanted to throw out on Monday's game? I kind of talked through that one already a little bit.
Monday's game versus the Phillies. No, not really. I mean, it was nice for Hoskins to get his ovation that he got. Awesome that he hit a home run. That was a rope. It wasn't like he mashed it and it went in the air. That was ripped, and that was just a straight line drive, and it didn't get higher than the fence. And it was, no, but we got a pretty good start out of Wilson. He's been pretty underrated again, I feel like, especially in the role that they've kind of thrown him into.
Mm-hmm.
Milner, a good inning and a third, but I mean the offense has been quiet in this 3-game series versus the Phillies. But honestly, they faced some good pitchers, so I can't really be mad at it. Obviously, this game we're down 2-0, and we have some work to do, but they could still come back and put up a crooked inning, a 4 or 5 run inning at any point. That's what this offense can do it for you. So don't call this one a loss yet, just saying. And yeah, that's all I got on that. I mean, the Brewers are playing good defense and they're competing. I mean, they lost 3-1 and 2-1 in back-to-back games against the team with the best record in baseball right now. So if you're a Brewers fan and you're saying that the sky is falling and we're not going to compete with the Phillies or the Dodgers or enter NL team,
settle down a little bit.
Sorry. I mean,
I was talking to the fans. I was agreeing with what you're saying and telling. Adding on to your sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even go on Facebook last night because I just knew what was going to happen.
For me, seeing people saying things like, the Phillies are a World Series team and the Brewers are not. It's like, okay, I didn't know the World Series was played in June, but all right.
Right. And how can you say that at all? I mean, the Dodgers every year started the year out on fire, and everybody would call them a World Series team until they play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're not very good. So, I mean, that the same can't be said for the Phillies because they're usually very, very good, at least the last couple years in September and October. So who knows? Maybe this is their year to go back to the World Series, and maybe they'll win it. But nobody knows right now. Nobody's saying that the Brewers can't get on fire. The trade deadline still hasn't happened. We still have a bunch of people we're going to get back. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So let's just enjoy the ride.
2023 and 2024. If you base the World Series in the first 2 weeks of the season, the Pittsburgh Pirates would be the champions.
Yeah, true that.
We talked about last night's game. I've thrown a couple things out there. I want to talk on Jared Koenig. Blake Perkins is batting in the top of the sixth with one out. I want to talk on Jared Koenig again. I said I'd had some stats on Jared Koenig as the opener. People calling it shenanigans or gamesmanship or just ridiculous or whatever they want to call it. Calling Pat Murphy that he's too much like counsel for using the opener. And it's just because it's not conventional baseball. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make it irrational or bad strategy. It's a strategy that they're trying to use to help the starting rotation get some extra innings out of them.
Yeah. Basically what they're trying to do is like they know, okay, so if you look at this, Colin Ray pitched 4 innings last night, and Wilson the day before pitched 5 2/3. So they're trying to get the starter into the 7th inning, 6th or 7th inning, and then after that, then they have a game plan on how they want to work the bullpen after that. So I believe that it's super smart. For me, that's a chess move. And compared to maybe everybody else playing checkers, that's one of those kind of things in my opinion. So I love it. And Koenig has been very good in it the last 2 days, especially only giving up 1 hit.
I have all of his numbers as an opener, so I'm going to give you that. But I've talked about it when they did it in the Boston series, that for me it's about leverage. We talk about leverage when we talk about the bullpen, and a 0-0 game against good left-handed hitters, that's a high leverage situation. Yes, there's a lot of baseball game left, but you're looking at a tie game regardless of the inning with good hitters coming to the plate versus, say a 4-2 game in the 7th with the bases empty. There's a difference in leverage there, so I understand the thought process that way as well. So Jared Koenig, as an opener, has done it 4 times, twice against the Red Sox, twice against the Phillies, has pitched 4 1/3 innings, given up 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks, no runs, and a 133 opponent batting average.
Nicely done.
You can't tell me it doesn't work because he's been fantastic.
Yeah, and he's putting the Brewers in a good spot, getting them off to a good start in the start of the game. If the Brewers etch out a couple of runs in the bottom of the first, I mean, you wouldn't be complaining about it if the Brewers won every one of those games.
I want to say they're 2-2.
They got to be 2-2.
Because I think they won the 2 Red Sox ones and they've lost the 2 Phillies ones.
Yeah. And,
none of those are because of Koenig. I mean, Koenig helps you get on the right foot to start your wins off. But Koenig didn't lose the Brewers the 2 games they lost to the Phillies.
Right. And last night's game, I mean, did you talk about that at all?
Nope. That's where I was going.
Okay. You want to start? You can start.
You take the lead. You were gone for the first 15, 20 minutes.
So I was kind of chomping at the bit. So we did a live episode last night on the Patreon. So if you joined us for that, appreciate it. Would appreciate all of you to come on over. Honestly, it'd just be a great time. Watch some baseball together. We're going to watch some football together, some basketball together in the future. But just talk through some scenarios. And last night we were talking, and one thing that we talked about is, the Brewers had runners on base in the 9th and 10th inning, and they just didn't get the big hit. And that happens sometimes. And it's not a reason for anybody to freak out and be like, oh my God, this team's terrible. And go look at their numbers in the totality of the season, because that tells the real story up to this point. They just didn't get the big hit last night with runners in scoring position, but they still have that capability of doing that. So as it was a frustrating loss and we had our opportunities, There's going to be a lot more of those, by the way, through the rest of the summer. So if last night hurt your feelings and you had heartaches all night when you were trying to sleep, probably sit this one out.
Just take a step back. Just take a step back. We keep saying it in baseball season. I'm probably going to say it 1,000 more times before we get to October. You have to zoom out in baseball.
You have to.
You can't do one game at a time and let your emotions ride high and low on one game at a time.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, sure. You can let them ride a little bit higher one at a time. But in the totality of a season, like you just said, they're playing 162 of these.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna give yourself the emotional roller coaster 162 times potentially.
Yeah.
That's that sounds stressful, to be honest with you.
Self-torture.
Even if they go on a 16-game winning streak, you're sparing yourself for 2.5 weeks.
Man, that's it.
So, gotta zoom out on baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it by series. That's how we usually do it. If they don't win a series, or forbid they get swept and lose today, you're just going to look at the next one and say, get them next time.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. They're not going to win every series. And coming into this series, I was looking for the Brewers to take 1 out of 3. We want the Brewers to win every series, and that's our goal for the Brewers, is just win series, because we're not expecting to go 162-0. But if you can win 2 out of 3, that's a 104-win season.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not expecting the Brewers to be in that situation, but just keep winning 2 out of 3. That's usually our goal, but they're not going to win every single series. We know that. They're going to get swept. They're going to sweep people. Things are going to happen like that. So don't let one game, one series even freak you out. Last night, to me, it was the pitching that really stood out.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Ray in the bottom of the 4th took a ball off the ankle, still had the presence of mind to run and flip the ball over to first base and get the out. That was awesome. He responded by getting a quick ground out after that and then finishing the inning with a strikeout. That was great work by Colin Ray.
Yeah.
Then Brian Hudson, later in the game, his cutter was disgusting last night. He was throwing cutters that guys couldn't touch. It was like 5 to 7 miles an hour slower than his regular fastball, and it looked great. It was totally messing up guys' timing and their eye level. It was awesome. Speaking of awesome, that was a really great play by Willie Adames. And Oli Paredes is pitching the bottom of the 6th inning. Got down 3-0, worked back 3-2, got a grounder to Willie Adames, took a high hop on him, picked it, and threw it over to first base. That was a nice play by Willie Adames.
I just saw it.
And then 8th inning, Elvis Aguero, that's when he gave up the home run to tie the game. That is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first home run that Elvis Aguero allowed the whole season. The Phillies have a 1-out single. The first home run that Elvis Aguero has allowed the entire season. After that, Chris Hook and Willie Adames came, settled him down, and he followed with a 4-pitch strikeout. You go look at last Tuesday, he gave up. He was a little erratic. Chris Hook came out. Willie Adames, they settled him down. He responded with a 3-pitch strikeout. So, settling down Elvis Aguero, that definitely worked in the Brewers' favor. He was able to keep the game at a 1-1 game, give the Brewers a chance. That's all you can ask for, is a chance, especially when you're playing, the class of the league, the class of the entire Major League Baseball, one of the teams with the best record. Just give yourself chances.
Mm-hmm.
The Brewers, to their credit, despite not having won games, and call it a moral victory if you want, but they have not put themselves out of any of these games.
Yeah. They're competing.
Yeah. So, again, the top 2 scoring teams in Major League Baseball go into extra innings tied 1-1. And that's where this one ends. Obviously, Castellanos hurt the Brewers last night. Hurt them today so far, but I'm really not going to complain about Aaron Ashby giving us 5 innings of 2-run ball.
Right.
It gives you a chance, like we just said, giving you a chance. So what did you think about last night?
Well, I felt like the pitching was clutch for the most part. I want to give Colin Ray a lot of credit. He got into some high leverage situations by himself, and he got out of them. So that was absolutely tremendous. Brian Hudson is still a stud. Don't care what anybody says. He's still a stud.
He's a monster.
Figueroa was good. Like you said, he gave up the one homer. And Trevor McGill, absolute monster, dude, honestly.
Oh, thank you for bringing Trevor McGill up. When you're done, we need to go back to Trevor McGill.
Okay. My opinion on McGill is McGill has taken the lead for the setup role when Devin Williams comes back. So you have McGill take the 8th inning, give you gas, give you that big knuckler, and then you're going to have to deal with the airbender. So you better pray to God when you come up to the plate because you're seeing a whole lot of movement and a lot of different pitches. Hey, hey, what's up, Connor? How we doing, buddy? Connor was with us last night. So McGill has really taken the lead for that setup role, in my opinion. He had 3 Ks last night. He was fired up. Just got the second out there. So there's a runner on second with 2 outs, bottom of the 6th here. And just want to give a shout out to Blake Perkins. Blake Perkins manufactured a run last night. What are you saying?
No strike.
Oh, just want to give a shout out to Blake Perkins. He manufactured that run last night. Monasterio did a good job getting contact, but Blake Perkins was literally 90% to home plate by the time the ball got to the defenders.
Right.
So he was like, not doing that, fielder's choice basically. But he grounded out the third. They had pulled the infield in, and Blake Perkins knew it, and he manufactured a run. So that's just smart baseball by him. He's been playing tremendous defense as well. So big shout out to him. Now, we have to have a conversation about Trevor McGill, so I'm going to let you take it away.
We've talked about relievers, and I'm going to go back to something that I said, that relievers are role players. They are there to play a role. Can you just throw out a number? I don't know the exact number. How many times do you think Trevor McGill has pitched more than 1 inning?
Going to assume 0 off the top of my head.
I'm going to say I want to say I don't know how many innings he's pitched either. I'm just going to look it up because I want to be accurate with what I'm going to say.
Okay. Now, maybe 1 or 2. But, I mean, remember where we got him from. Remember, we had to develop him. So they're not going to put him in multi-inning spots for.
He's pitched in 17 games. I was going to say 15, but I wanted to make sure I was accurate with what I was going to say. So he's pitched 17 games. I'm willing to say that it's 3 or fewer that he's pitched more than 1 inning.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For him to come through with 3 strikeouts in the top of the 9th inning, the bottom of the 9th inning last night, that's it. He's not coming back out for the 10th. He is a role player. His role is to come in and shut down right now the 9th inning. He's not going past that. That's not his role. That's not a role that they really do with very many relievers at all, much less guys that throw 99 miles an hour regularly.
I mean, guys that could do it, Koenig, Hudson's done it. I've seen Piamps do it last year, but
like Kevin Herget is one of them. But
I mean, honestly, it's few and far between. But at this point, Herget got used a couple of days ago, so maybe he was not at his pitch volume for the week. So I mean,
it's not even about who's available in the bullpen. It's really I want to talk about just Trevor McGill. It's just Trevor McGill that I want to have this conversation on as far as last night is concerned. You're not sending him back out there for another inning. You're not having him do the up down and get done and ready again in another inning. They're not doing that with Trevor McGill. They're not doing that with anybody who throws 99 or 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Especially one who got hit on the elbow by a pitch, that came back at him 99 miles an hour the week before.
Right.
Like you people wanting to overuse these guys, are you asking for them to get hurt?
Well, they're also the people that we have to continually tell that you have to zoom out. Like this season goes all the way until the Packers play. You guys realize that, right? Like past when the Packers play. It's a long year. We are in June. We have July, all of August.
Good rip, William.
September. We have a lot. So, I mean, we don't need to be having Trevor McGill go out there for 2+ innings and an extra innings game against the Phillies on June 4th.
No. And with relief pitchers, especially guys that throw like Trevor McGill does, if you look at a starter, the way that they prepare is obviously much different. But as games go on, they tend to lose velocity. Relief pitchers are the same way. You send McGill back out there, he's not going to be throwing 99 to 100. He's going to be throwing 97, 98.
Yeah.
That makes him look a lot more human to a Major League Baseball player.
True.
Also, it maybe takes away a little bit of break from his knuckle curve that's so nasty. Like, just let guys be effective where they are.
Agreed.
Stop trying to, like, overextend and overuse guys just because they're playing well.
Agreed. That was a nice leadoff double by Contreras there.
Yeah, William Contreras just had a leadoff double, and now Christian Yelich is up to bat. Definitely the guy you want at the plate.
In a situation like this.
Yep, and he's already up 2-0. Love to see it.
Yeah, he's gonna get a big fat pitch off this 2-0 here. I just got to 2-0, but he's gonna get a big fat pitch here.
Ooh, dude, that's the one he should have swung at.
Dude, what is going on with the Reds, dude? What the heck? Man,
they are Ellie, and that's it.
Yeah.
They are the Cincinnati De La Cruzes.
It's actually a sick name, honestly. The Cincinnati De La Cruzes. All right, come on. I got 2-1.
You on 2-2 for Yelich yet?
I just got to 2-2. He just fouled it off. He's picking up the baseball and flinging it.
All right, now we should be pretty close.
They got Hobie warming up in the old bullpen there. I love me some Hobie Milner. He just looks like a guy that's not like a professional athlete. I'm sorry. He just looks like a regular guy. Then he goes down there and scrapes his knuckles on the ground and he freaking strikes people out.
throws a slider that moves 84 inches.
You're like, what in the...
Let's go Yelich. 3-2 count.
Yeah, come on. Come on, Yelly.
Full ball.
Yelly versus Nola. This is a good battle right here.
This is going to end up being like a 14-pitch at bat.
Yep, so that's getting out of play. Yelly doesn't get enough credit for how much he battles up there, in my opinion. He does a good job battling with two strikes, man. He may not always get a hit, but he makes the pitcher work a little bit at least. All right, come on, Yelly. We need more, baby.
Ooh, another foul.
Look at the Cubs. Bums.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to complain about something going on, how about the Cubs?
So bad, dude.
They just let the Chicago White Sox end their 12-game losing streak.
I was, every time that we would beat them this past weekend, I was like, they're on a 9-game, 10-game, 11-game. I'm like, all right, that's what I like to see. We don't want to be the ones that the streak ends on. All right. We're at third. Let's get a run here, guys. Thomas, you know what to do, buddy.
Trying to find just per plate appearance.
If Adames hits a home run in this plate appearance, we're getting an apology for him for Willie Adames.
Bet.
Because the disrespect got very loud.
I did.
And Nola's a good pitcher at home. I mean, geez.
He's a good pitcher everywhere, but yeah.
He has the most
good eye, Willie.
RBIs in 7th inning or later in the entire MLB.
Trying to find where I can find pitches per plate.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that Willie Adames is the definition of lock-in, boys. He's the human example of lock-in.
All right, he's down 1-2 right now. Jake's favorite relief pitcher is warming up.
Not this guy.
Oh, that was a good hit. It was a good hard hit. Just foul. Okay, pitches per plate appearance. The Milwaukee Brewers are 9th in Major League Baseball. In pitches per plate appearance.
Who's next first on that?
Seattle Mariners.
Aren't they bad right now?
Yes, they are. Ooh, you might be in there. Oh. That. Murphy was asking Contreras. Damn. That's tough. Of course, just another hard hit ball by Willie Adames.
Damn.
Kind of a lucky pick. I thought maybe he had that hand in there. But... I really thought he was in there.
The foot.
Oh.
He hit his foot. If he didn't hit his foot, he would have been safe.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's have a conversation on perspective on this. What just happened? Contreras out of the plate. So people are going to see Contreras throw out the plate, and I saw it happen last night because people were complaining about the exact same thing. Why do they get rid of Jason Lane? Always running on contact. It's like we've had the discussion. If you want to continue being aggressive and scoring runs, you're going to be aggressive all the time, not just when you know it's going to work.
Yep.
If being aggressive worked 100% of the time, everybody would do it. And B, the Brewers scored 2 runs total in the first 2 games of this series. You're going to be aggressive.
Yeah. Any chance they get, they're going to try to force
when you have a chance.
Yep.
You can't run on contact on a strikeout or a walk. I mean, Christian Yelich is one of the only guys in baseball that's done it. So you got to take your chances when you can. And that's when balls are in play and guys are on scoring position. You can't just hold everybody and wait for them to get driven in.
Right.
The give and take there is you got to kind of bet on how often guys score from third on contact plays versus the batting average in the situation of the guy that's coming up to bat.
Damn.
So we'll see if Rhys Hoskins, maybe he can tie it up. Down 1-2, just hit a foul ball.
Another not bad option, by the way, at the plate. You can do a lot worse than Rhys Hoskins.
Mm-hmm. Let's say he does. Let's say he does hit one home. Then people are going to say something like, "Oh, well, if you had held Contreras, that would have been a 3-run home run," which isn't also the case either, because you assume if Contreras stays, that Bohm throws the ball to first base and Willie Adames has a ground out, and then it's still a 2-run home run.
Come on, Rhys. Get a hold of one, baby.
Just like game 1.
I want this one to be a moonshot.
Find some grass.
Christ.
See, and then there you go. That at bat, William Contreras wouldn't have scored on that anyways. So that's why you got to be aggressive and take your chances when you can. All right, let's go up to the Cubs series. Let's go to game 3 from the Cubs series. What's up to you from that was last Wednesday. That was after the show last week.
Yeah. So this one was a lot of fun. So Blake Perkins' legacy game, dude. Got to start off by saying that. Also give you a shout out because you called it. Brewers were going to hit a ton of home runs.
Yeah. You
were
called
gonna
the
go
home runs.
crazy,
I
right?
said they would score a bunch on Imanaga. You said they'd hit a bunch of home runs.
Yeah, right. So I just wanted to give you a shout out because you said it first. I just
I
followed
said
suit.
they would score 6 on Imanaga because baseball.
In baseball,
And you said they'd hit 4 home runs. They scored 7 on Imanaga and hit 2 home runs off of it, and they hit 3 in the game.
hey, they did their thing, right? Also, Joey Ortiz, first time leading off, so I think he did a great job. I'd like to see him up there a little bit more, honestly. He's a good contact guy, and he gets on base with plus speed. But Bryce Wilson started this one, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and a K. Koenig was tremendous, 0 earned runs, 3 Ks. Anoli Canoli, I'm not calling him by his last name the entire year, Anoli Canoli. 1 inning pitched, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and a K. He's been absolutely tremendous, better than advertised, in my opinion, since he's been over here. And Mitch White, this was his last appearance, right? His last appearance for us? Or did he pitch in the White Sox series? I don't remember.
For who?
Nope. This was his last one. So his last appearance with the Brewers, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, and earned run and 0 Ks. But let's get this thing started, right? So in the bottom of the first, Yelly hits a home run to right center, 441 feet, a monster shot.
110 off the bat.
Yeah, just an absolute monster shot.
That's a rocket.
Ortiz scored after he hit a double, and it was a first pitch 4-seam fastball. Just crushed it. That made the game 2-0. Brewers are off and running, right? Bottom of the third, Adames singles the center. Ortiz scores, and Yelly gets the second. It was a 3-1 first pitch splitter. Oh, no. It was 3-1. It was the first splitter that he saw in the at-bat, is what I mean by that. Still in the bottom of the third, Sanchez doubles to left. Yelly scores. Adames goes from first to home. Had to give that a shout-out because he was on his horse. Makes the game 5-1, and that was also a double off the splitter. So if you're seeing a trend here, the splitter was getting knocked around a little bit. Then we get to Blake Perkins, who hits a home run to left center, 395 feet. Sanchez
as a right-handed hitter.
What's that?
As a right-handed hitter.
As a right-handed hitter. Makes the game 7-1. 5 runs on 5 hits for the Brewers in this inning, and that home run created a lot of sad Cubs fans, which makes me a very happy Brewers fans.
Connor said we talked about it the night before on the watch party.
We
sure did. We sure did.
Speaking into existence. Wouldn't you know it, that homer that Blake Perkins hit was also a first pitch splitter. The splitter was getting destroyed in the bottom of the third inning. Bottom of the seventh, Yelly ends up grounding out the first. Ortiz scores. Contreras gets the third base. The game is 8-4. There was a couple of runs scored there by the Cubs. They tried to make it a game, but never really became one.
Mm-hmm.
In the bottom of the seventh, still, Adames hits a home run to left center, 409 feet. Adames and Contreras end up scoring, making it 10-4. And that's all she wrote, 10-4, Captain, because this game was over after that. That was the bow on it. And Brewers were 6 for 11, runners in scoring position.
Nice play, Reese.
Sanchez, Yelly, and Adames and Perkins all at RBIs in this one. Contreras and Ortiz had stolen bases. So just an all-around great game.
Yeah, so I just want to throw a quick update on there. Rhys Hoskins. So Hobie Milner's pitching the seventh, and with 1 out, Rhys Hoskins makes a diving play in the hole between first and second, and Hobie Milner covers. That was, for a guy who's not known for his defense at first base, that was a great play defensively by Rhys Hoskins. So there's 2 outs in the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah, it was. That was fancy by Milner, too.
Yeah, good cover. So looking at Game 3 against the Cubs, as Hobie Milner starts 0-1 on Kyle Schwarber, you talk about Joey Ortiz leading off. He had actually a really good defensive start in the first inning and then led off with a double. So just a great start for Joey Ortiz. Going to talk about him more as far as leadoff is concerned, so I'll put a pin in that. Come back. You mentioned the Blake Perkins legacy game. He robbed a home run, hit a double, and hit a home run.
Yeah.
Blake Perkins, like you said, he did it all. He ran another one down later on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just fantastic work by Blake Perkins. And then Joey Ortiz also made some really good defensive plays in this game. And one more guy that made a diving play in this game after being questioned about his hustle a lot. Jackson Chourio made a diving play in this game. So really just good work all around defensively by the Brewers. Then you mentioned already the third inning. First pitch hits. Christian Yelich and Willy Adames both had singles. Blake Perkins had the home run. And in that inning, Willy Adames extended his hitting streak to 8.
Like that.
All right. So let's see. Let's finish up with Hobie Milner here in the bottom of the 7th.
Jesus Christ. No, go foul.
It was foul. Definitely foul. All right. Full count, Hobie. Right at him. Just like you draw it up. Attaboy, Hobie.
And take a seat. All right. Sounds good. All right. So,
Game 4.
what do you think about game 2? Why don't you start that one, my man?
Game 4, my guy.
Game 4. I'm looking at game 2.
We're going to the next one, not the previous one.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. We already talked about game 2 last week. So,
game 4, Willy Adames in the bottom of the 2nd inning with a leadoff double extended his hitting streak to 9. The Brewers got a lot of 2-0 damage by the bottom of the order, the bottom 4 of the order, and Bryce Terang in the bottom of the 2nd and the bottom of the 7th. Gary Sanchez had a sacked fly that made the game 1-1. Sal Frelick had a 2-out single and scored on a great dive that produced one of the pictures of the year. Sal Frelick diving into home plate on a Joey Ortiz double. So more good work by him in the leadoff spot. Or no, not the leadoff spot. He was batting 9th that day because they're a righty, not a lefty. I'm getting ahead of myself because that's the conversation I want to have. Then in the bottom of the 7th, Blake Perkins manufactures a run. It's a 2-out single, steals 2nd, gets the 3rd on a wild pitch, and Bryce Terang singles him in, and that makes the game 4-3, put the Brewers ahead for good. Yoel Payamps needs to have some love given to him for how he finished the top of the 6th inning with the Cubs, kept them from potentially taking the lead in the top of the 7th as well. So the top of the 6th comes in for Colin Ray, gets the last 2 outs of the 6th inning, comes back in the 7th, gives up a single and a fly out, and then Hudson comes in and gives up a 2-run home run. Now, Brian Hudson, we've talked about him being a stud. However, he is human, not perfect, but despite seeming like the Terminator this year, he is human. Only the 3rd time all year that he's given up runs, and the 1st time since May 4th. So he's going about 4 weeks in between giving up runs. So my biggest takeaway from this is the offense picking him up in the 7th and 8th inning. So Brian Hudson gave up the 2-run home run. The Brewers score a run in the bottom of the 7th and tack on 2 insurance run in the bottom of the 8th and win this one 6-3. Gary Sanchez just hitting nukes out of the ballpark. The home run that he hit, 442 feet, had to outdo Yelich by a foot. Not quite as hard hit though, only 107 and a half mile an hour off the bat. So that was my main takeaway. Hudson being human, but the offense picking him up.
So for me, I mean, a lot of people did good stuff on offense. Sanchez had a couple RBIs, 3 RBIs to be exact. Perkins, Terang, and Ortiz also had RBIs. Sanchez with a big-time home run, right? He had the clutch gene over the homestand.
Damn.
But a thing, this feels wrong, but I want to give the Cubs credit for always fighting back, tying the game multiple times. So that made the game pretty exciting, and made the Gary Sanchez home run really, really, really exciting in my opinion. But in that inning, I mean, the Brewers I believe they had bases loaded, right? Yeah, they had bases loaded. They had bases loaded, and then Owen Miller came up the bat and hit into a double play. And that's what made – oh, no. Did they only have 2 on? Yeah, I think they only had 2 on. But before that, I thought they were going to squander the opportunity to score a run when the game was tied at 4. And, grounding into the double play didn't help. But then Sanchez, I believe it was a 2-2 or 3-2 count, and he just unloads on a baseball. So great stuff by him. Sanchez has been an absolute great signing in the offseason. So
for sure. All righty, so top of the eighth, Sal Frelick, a ground out, a nice play by the second baseman. So not only are the Phillies getting good pitching, but now they're getting good defense on top of it, which, when you figure they have one of the best records in baseball, that's part of how.
Yeah.
So we're at Joey Ortiz, who's batting in the 7th spot. So see what Joey Ortiz does here. See if we can get it. It's a Joey moment. Inside. Good eye. Joey Ortiz, 4-pitch walk. Nicely done. Okay. So, all in all, Brewers took 3 out of 4 from the Cubs. Love to see it. Didn't stop them from talking a bunch of trash just for them to lose to the White Sox and let the longest losing streak of baseball season so far end right after the Brewers had swept them. So, that's very enjoyable. But the Brewers did take 6 of 7 from the 2 Chicago teams on their homestand.
Love that.
See if Gary Sanchez can be clutch again. Wonder what his batting is like.
He smoked that baseball too. Right at him.
Yeah. Kind of feels like the story of the series.
Yeah.
A lot of hard hit balls just right at people. It was 110 off the bat.
All right, Blake. Find some grass and let's run.
Man, that was a really hard hit. 110 off the bat for Gary Sanchez. Interested to see what the expected batting average ends up being on that one. That's a good pitch.
Yeah, you ain't doing much with that.
Yeah, right on the paint. Gary Sanchez is batting .353 in the 8th inning.
Whew.
It's going to go down a little bit just because of that one at bat, but easily his best inning.
Be a good off day for the crew tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't have that conversation. We probably should have had that conversation on the watch party a little bit last night. But to go from Milwaukee to Philly with no off day for travel, that adds a little bit of a wrinkle too.
And then on top of that, you're playing I'm just going to say it. You're playing shit team, and then you're going against, straight on the road against the team with the best record in baseball right now. So it's tough.
All right, so Blake Perkins struck out, so we'll be at the top of the order in the 9th inning. So if there's anybody you want to have coming up, it's the top of the order.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure it out, make it work.
White Sox, game 1.
Man, if we talked about just all the hits, we would be here for an hour.
Every starter was on base at least twice.
Yep. 23 hits in this one for the Brewers. It's most by any team in the majors so far this season. They scored 12 runs, which ties their season high of runs by the Brewers this season, and they had no home runs in that 12 runs.
Yeah.
18 of the 23 hits were singles.
Sheesh.
They were just playing base to base and just you go here and you go here, station to station. Yelly had a five hit game, his 5th of his career. So congratulations to him. Absolutely tremendous. But we picked this one up in the bottom of the 2nd inning where Ortiz hits a double to right field. Frelick ends up scoring 2 hits and 1 run in the bottom of the 2nd for the Brewers. Get to the bottom of the 4th. Perkins singles to left, Frelick to 2nd, Ortiz. Oh, Frelick scored and Ortiz to 2nd. Sorry, terrible handwriting. Apologize for that. Made the game 3-2. And then Yelich decides on the 69th pitch, which we had to post about. Just had to.
We did. Right? It had to be done.
He singled to right. Ortiz and Perkins end up scoring. Contreras gets to 2nd. Gives the Brewers the lead 4-3. 3 hits and 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 7th, Terang singles to right, and this inning was long, by the way. They went absolutely ham in the 7th inning. Terang singled to right. Frelick ends up scoring. Perkins gets the third. Game is 5-5. Contreras then singles to left. Perkins scores. Terang to second. Game is 6-5. Brewers were like, yeah, we're going to take this lead thing, and then we're just going to, just keep it. So
double it and give it to the next person.
Yelly has a kind of an excuse me swing, ends up doubling to left field. Terang and Contreras score on an error. The game is now 8-5. The Brewers are blowing this one open, and you felt it in the air as you're watching this one. And Tyler and I were busy on Friday night, sitting in the press box for the T-Rats. So I had to rewatch this game, and it was a lot of fun. I already knew the outcome, but it was still fun. Bowers ends up reaching on an error on an infield single to the shortstop, and Yelly ends up scoring. Game is now 9-5. Frelick, after Bowers, doubles to center. Bowers scores. Hoskins at third, 10-5. 8 hits, 6 runs, and 1 error in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's fun. Bottom of the 8th, Yelly singles to left. Terang scores, 11-5. Oliver Dunn gets in on the action, singles to left field. Adames scores. Game is 12-5. 4 hits and 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Everybody was hitting. 9 for 27 runners in scoring position and 16 left on base.
Dude,
they had 16 left on base and they scored 12.
27 attempts, plate appearances with runners in scoring position is absurd.
That is absolutely just uncalled for.
You mentioned with the double by Joey Ortiz in the second inning. That's twice in a row, 2 days in a row, that Sal Frelick scored from first base on a Joey Ortiz double.
Yeah.
So mentioned every starter on base twice. Tobias Myers. Now, he got, I'm not going to say roughed up, but pitching with 2 strikes, he had some close misses. He had some not close misses, a few foul balls, and then he had some pitches that just got too much of the plate. So my thoughts on Tobias Myers, some potential development points for him is his 2-strike approach and his command.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4th inning for him, I think, was actually pretty good. Gave up a 1-out single, a double, and the runner got out at home on a ground out and then got a fly out to finish it off. So he finished strong, is what I'll say with Tobias Myers. Now, people are wanting him to develop in AAA, which I understand. Right now, he's currently still a AAA level pitcher, but the Brewers, their organizational depth at pitching has been tested. It's going to continue to be tested. That's why Tobias Myers is back. Now, my alternate perspective on that specific situation with Tobias Myers is with the Brewers needing him in the majors, they need him to eat some innings. I'm glad that he's around Chris Hook and Jim Henderson. So the alternate perspective of Tobias Myers having to spend a little bit of extra time in Major League Baseball as opposed to having him in AAA where his competition level currently suits him the best is he gets to be around the leaders, the lead scientists of the pitching lab, if you will.
Love that.
So that's definitely a good thing for Tobias Myers to get to be around Chris Hook and Jim Henderson more. So just an alternate perspective on Tobias Myers. Now, when you talk offense, Christian Yelich struck out in his first at-bat, then followed out with 5 hits. And Bryce Harper's got a deep center, and Blake Perkins catches it like he usually does. So Payamps is pitching the bottom of the 8th. Got 2 outs. Harper hit a deep fly ball, but it was caught. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. So when we get to the top of the 9th, we'll stick with the game. Okay. Christian Yelich, strike out his first at-bat, then 5 straight hits. 2 doubles, 1 kind of lucky, and 5 runs batted in. Was the 4th time in franchise history to have 5 hits and 5 RBI in one game. He tied Paul Molitor for 5 hits games in Brewers history.
That's so sick.
And seeing him talk about it, being anytime your name is brought up in the same sentence as Paul Molitor and seeing him be excited about it is cool. Also, it was his 300th career double. And with this game, his batting average went from 297 to 325.
Yeah, it skyrocketed.
And the exit velocities on his hits, 107.1, 105.8, 109.2, 85.1, and 96.3.
The double was 85.1?
The accidental double was 85, yeah.
Holy crap, dude. I can't believe that was 85 miles an hour.
Probably a fastball that was high, high
Yeah.
velocity, but for his on-purpose swings, 107, 105, 109, 96.
Mm-hmm.
That's squaring up the ball. The Brewers, this was their 8th game of 10-plus runs. That leads Major League Baseball. You want to know, give me a date, like a day, a month, and a day of when you think it took them to get 8 games of 10-plus runs last year.
I'm going to say, ooh.
This year was May 31st. When do you think it was last year?
I know they had a couple games against the Mets, so that's 2. I'll say July 25th.
Longer.
August?
Yep. It's in August.
Dude, my gut was telling me to say August. August 10th.
Farther.
20th.
Farther.
30th.
August 27th.
No.
It took them almost 3 months longer last year to get to 8 games of 10-plus runs.
Jesus.
If you don't think that's a difference that the Brewers have this year, and you really want to complain about them being aggressive, there is your proof in the pudding right there.
Wow.
Personnel is a factor, but strategy absolutely is too.
I agree.
Okay. So the Brewers, they had 10 total 10-plus scoring games last year.
Okay.
So we're not even at the All-Star break, and the Brewers only need to score 10-plus 2 more times for them to meet their total from last year.
Wow.
Brewers are 10-8 without a home run. They're 10-8 in games they don't hit home runs. Only the Brewers and San Francisco have winning records without home runs.
Interesting.
Sal Frelick was on base 4 times. Blake Perkins had another wet gem, took an extra base hit away in the top of the 8th. And the Brewers' 23 hits is a Major League Baseball high for 2024.
Yes.
Now, the last thing I want to say before we close the book on Game 1 of this series, if there needs to be any other reason to be optimistic about the Brewers or their chances on winning the division or doing something in the playoffs, whatever your benchmark is, they gained 5.5 games on the division in the month of May.
Yeah.
They had a half-game lead going into May, and they exited May with a 6-game lead on the NL Central. That's reason enough to put respect on the Brewers.
Yep, agreed.
All right, so we're gonna pause here with Game 2 of the White Sox series. So after the top of the 9th wraps up, we'll talk White Sox Game 2 and 3 and give any other thoughts we have on today's game, and that's where we'll be. So Andre Monasterio is leading off.
All right.
All right, got a 1-1 count. Yeah, I didn't think that first pitch was a strike either.
I mean, it wasn't terribly high, but come on. Sure you don't want to call that one? Come on, Monasterio.
Well, I guess he's consistent at least.
That one was more of a strike than the first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now at least Monasterio has the presence of mind that he's calling the high strikes.
Yeah.
That's what prompted the swing. 98 is tough.
That's tough up there, dude.
We spent a good amount of time talking about high fastballs last night. DL Hall is getting his second opinion today. He's expected to join the Brewers during that Tiger series. So that would be a boost also.
Alvarado just comes at you, man. He's not messing around. He's like, here's 98. Damn. Hit it.
I can't even lie. That dude's dealing right now.
Yeah, he is.
I respect it. Joey Ortiz eating Reese's Pieces in the dugout. That's awesome. Not chasing that high.
This would probably be the first time Brewers get swept this year, or they've been swept. I don't think they have been.
No, I think they lost. They've lost a couple of series. They've only lost like 3 or 4 series. But
Yeah,
the Yankees and the Padres are the 2 series I remember them losing, and they still took 1 out of 3 of those 2.
Yeah.
I mean, see if Contreras, Yelich, and Adames, if you can get those 3 to the plate, see if you can flip this game over.
If Contreras and Yelich get on, and there's 1 out, and Adames is up, things are going to get interesting.
If Contreras gets on, things are going to get interesting. There we are. Here we are.
Leave it to our best hitter to hit a freaking 97-mile-an-hour fastball high in the zone, and we're talking about how tough it is. That's what that guy does, dude. That's literally what he does. And for everybody at home, I want you to realize that is, I'm just going to say it, that's damn near impossible to hit that.
And let me throw the approach out there too. William Contreras knows that if he's going to see a high fastball, he knows that he has to go to the opposite field.
All right, Yelly.
Connor said he thinks we've been swept once. He just can't remember who it was.
I know. I think we have too. I think we've been swept one time too. Let me go back to my notebook.
I'm just going to look up their schedule. Ooh, Yelich. That's not a pitch to swing at.
Won that.
Yankees, Rays, they won a game in that series. They didn't get swept in April.
I think we have. I don't remember.
Didn't get swept. No, we haven't been swept.
You haven't been swept? Okay.
Nope. They lost 2 out of 3 to Miami. They lost 2 out of 3 to Houston.
Yep.
They lost 2 out of 3 to Kansas City, 2 out of 3 in Chicago. So they've lost series. They've lost 4 series, I think. They've lost a series to the Yankees. Yeah, no sweeps. No sweeps.
Well, that's a good thing. Not that I'm
going.
disappointed I was wrong. I'm
This is
happy.
already interesting. Contreras on base and Yelich up the bat. Would love to
Christian Yelich, man. Let's go.
Oof.
That's tough.
We gave credit to Brian Hudson for his cutter last night. It would be wrong to not do the same for Alvarado.
That as a lefty batter, that's tough.
And we just spent the whole Contreras at bat talking about how hard it is to hit high fastballs at 97, 98. Then he throws 92 that's breaking away from you.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I mean, it's tough. And, I guess I would tell Christian Yelich, hey, to try to lay off that. But hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do. And when a pitcher is dealing like that, I'm just going to give the respect where it's due. I'm not going to sit here and berate Yelich for striking out.
If somebody's going to put a charge into a baseball, it's going to be Adames.
And then Hoskins, who I think is on deck.
That 98 caught a lot of plate. I think Adames missed that personally. Not that I'm saying that it was easy, but.
Sounds like exactly what you said. See, well, Adames right-handed hitter, a little bit easier to lay off the cutter.
And a baby.
All right, 2-1 for Adames. It's ahead in the count. That's a good thing. Let's go, Willie. Oof. That fastball is nasty right now.
Yeah, that cutter is got great drop to it.
Mm-hmm. And
4
or 5 miles an hour off of his 4-seamer. 4, 5, 6 miles an hour even off of his 4-seamer. All right, Willie. 2-2. See another pitch.
Yeah, just want to say we got to give a shout out to the net behind home plate, saving everybody's lives because those people didn't move nearly fast enough.
98 will do that to you.
Yes, good.
Good take. That's tough. That's an insane take.
Bro, that's a ball.
Settle down, Bartman. It was inside.
3-2, 2 outs.
Okay, just leave it alone. I'll get it.
That was
that one
better take. Oh,
that was a nice pitch.
he was looking for the cutter. If that was a cutter, it would have been inside with it being a four-seamer. That's strike. That's
tough though. You weren't doing anything with that anyway.
Damn. I gotta say, I gotta be honest. I'm really impressed with that half inning that Alvarado just put up.
It's good stuff. Alvarado's a good player. Phillies have some good pitching. Obviously, we saw that on full display. Brewers have good pitching too. I mean, they were 1 or 2 hits away in this series from winning the series, winning 2 out of 3. Let's call it what it is, right?
Well, let's look at it too. Just looking at as far as the Brewers pitching goes, the Brewers are holding it together.
Yeah,
like it's duct tape, masking tape, super glue,
the glue,
gum,
glue
chewed
sticks.
gum. It's everything the Brewers are, everything they got to hold together the starting rotation.
Yeah,
and they held the Phillies to 3, 2, and 2. The team that averages 5 runs a game, they held them to 7 runs in a series.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Brewers' offense cooled off for a series, but as we just discussed with the White Sox series, and we have 2 more games to go through quick before we get out of here. But the Brewers' pitching, honestly, through this series is pretty good. I don't have any complaints as far as pitching goes, even though they got swept.
They got swept, but I'll tell you this, I'm not losing any sleep over that. They competed, and with everything that we have, I feel pretty good about where the Brewers are sitting.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a well-earned off day after a great homestand that they had.
Yep.
They lost a couple close games, tough ones in Philly. They're going to go to Detroit, hopefully take 2 out of 3 from them, and then they're going to come back home for some more home cooking. So I'm going to be just fine. It is June 5th, 2024. I think the Brewers are going to be just fine.
Yep, and as we're still probably about a month away before trade stuff starts ramping up, so.
Okay. We're probably about a month away from people having reactions where I can be like, okay, I'll hear that. But not every single complaint. But in July and August, I'll start listening to people if they have concerns, if things become trends. Not June. We're not doing that in June.
Nope. This team so far, even after a sweep, has exceeded all of my expectations. Literally all
1,000%. Dude,
all of them.
I don't think, if we go back to the primer, me and you didn't pick them to have 30-plus wins at this point in the season, I don't think.
Not a 6-game lead on the division either.
True.
Okay, so let's talk about Game 2 and Game 3 of the White Sox series, and we'll say what we're thinking for the next week, but let's go to White Sox Game 2.
Yeah, so Gosser started this one, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned, and 3 Ks. Let's just all come together for a prayer circle. Hopefully he's okay. He's been a really big bright spot for the Brewers, and if he continues to dominate like he is, man, I mean, I don't see a reason why he can't be in some Rookie of the Year talks, just saying. But
absolutely,
I'm going to give a shout-out. 0 walks from the pitching staff, 0 walks from Gosser again. That's probably my favorite part about him, honestly, is
the command.
He's not a guy that's going to go up there and throw 100 and overpower you, but he is – I just like watching him pitch because he's such a technician with how he does things, and it's like, oh, that's so beautiful to watch.
You need that contrast, too. I'm really glad you brought that up. That's a really good conversation to have. We had that conversation last year with guys like Ray and Hauser.
Yeah.
You need that contrast of guys who have, like, overpowering stuff and nasty movement and 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. You need the guys that throw 94, 95 but paint corners.
Oh, dude, it's such a beautiful thing to watch when it's done correctly, and Gosser's so good at it. And he's still developing. I think people have to understand that, too. He's still got, a changeup that he's still developing. And once
he's only 14 years old in the face.
Dude, he looks like a baby, man. He looks like a baby.
We need to get Joey Ortiz to teach him how to grow a mustache.
just at least a mustache, right? In the bottom of the third, we'll do the scoring real quick here. In the bottom of the third, Ortiz hit a double to right. Terang scores. Ortiz 12th double of the season. It's 1-1. Bottom of the seventh, Adames singles the center. Contreras and Terang score. Yelly gets to second base. Two out RBIs for Adames in the bottom of the seventh. And then we get to the 10th inning. Adames absolutely smokes a baseball to the shortstop. He was hit so hard the shortstop couldn't even handle it. Contreras literally could have tried to perform a backflip, a somersault, and stop to tie his shoes in the amount of time that it took him to walk to home plate. So great job by Adames. Good approach. Great job by Contreras getting on base. Well, he started on base, but great job for him just, scoring, I guess. He's just great. So we're just going to give him credit.
Finish the play at least.
Finish the play. But, Brewers ended up winning this one, walking it off in 10 innings, and that's great. And everybody had the good feels on Saturday.
Yeah. So Willie Adames in the seventh inning, the RBI that he had in the seventh inning, his 400 and 401st career RBIs.
Yeah.
So good for him on that. He also made a lot of really, really good defensive plays in this game.
Yes.
So I wanted to give credit to Willie Adames for his defense. This is the game that I wanted to have the conversation of Joey Ortiz and Bryce Terang. Because right now, I want to have the conversation. I think they are interchangeable. I think they're interchangeable, that you can have Joey Ortiz leading off against lefties and Bryce Terang batting ninth, and then flip it around and have Joey Ortiz batting ninth against lefty or against righties, and having Bryce Terang leading off against righties. So I'm really thinking they're like interchangeable at this point, and they're both succeeding. So I cannot wrap my head around why people are complaining about things that are working. Gotta stop. We gotta stop complaining about things that are working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's where the phrase comes from. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stop trying to force extra things to happen.
Agreed.
Be grateful for what you have. That's working.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the conversation I wanted to have on Joey Ortiz and Bryce Terang.
Mm-hmm.
Game 3. What stood out to you from the finale of this series, besides having the brooms ready to go?
So Peralta had a tough first inning in this one, but he absolutely settled in.
Mm-hmm.
Goes 5 innings for us, 4 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. And honestly, he picks up the W, and it was his first win since April 30th versus the Tampa Bay Rays. The bullpen was awesome. Anoli Canoli picked up his first career save, so great for him. Bottom of the second, Bowers hits a double. Ortiz scores from first base. Ortiz got on. He got on base, and he ends up scoring from first, so he showed his plus speed there. Jackson Churio unloaded on a baseball, 384 feet to left field. It reached a height of 116 feet in the air.
Oh, a little Prince Fielder home run there, huh?
That is insane, dude. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's going in the old notebook guy.
That's awesome.
Bowers and Sanchez scored on the homer. It was a hanging slider, 84 dead middle, and Jackson did not miss it. Just awesome. Also love that the offense picked up Freddie after a tough first inning. Again, wanted to repeat that because Freddie battled in the first inning. Bottom of the 8th, Sanchez ends up singling. Adames and Frelick score, making the game 6-3. And just really wrapping this up, I have some notes on 7th inning or later when you get done with your breakdown.
Yeah, let me just throw out my main things, and then I want to have a conversation after that too. So, First things first, Willie Adames and William Contreras originally were not in the starting lineup for this game.
Nope.
They went to Pat Murphy and convinced him. He went into it. Pat Murphy said, hey, I was going to give you guys the day off. He said, go out, think about it, come back. They came back. They said they both wanted to play. I like that the manager is approachable.
They want to set that record, dude. That's what they want.
So I enjoy that from them. And I enjoy Pat Murphy being willing to listen to his players also. I appreciate that from the manager.
Yeah.
You mentioned Freddie Peralta. His fastball, it was kind of hot and cold. 43 pitches in the first inning, and then only 54 to get through the next 4 innings.
Yeah.
So good work by Freddie Peralta. His changeup continues to improve. I got several called strikes on it. Having it break down and in to right-handed hitters is nasty. That's what Devin Williams' changeup does to people.
Yeah.
If Freddie Peralta starts throwing Devin Williams' changeup or something close to it, he's going to be the ace we know he can be.
Dog, if he starts throwing that, we're going to start having some Cy Young conversations because then you're not touching him.
For him to be fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and all of them be plus pitches, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. He got 15 swing and misses in the first 2 innings. 15 whiffs in 2 innings.
Jeez.
11 of the 15 were on his fastball.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about it a lot, that changeup is your favorite pitch in baseball because of what it does to hitters.
Yeah.
With his fastball being that nasty, like I said, if he gets something that's even remotely close to the effectiveness that Devin Williams' changeup has, your Cy Young contention,
Bro,
his potential will absolutely be that.
dude, it's night at that point, honestly. It is. Because the reason that changeups are so crazy is because they have the same spin as the fastball.
Exactly.
And it messes with hitters.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to continue watching Freddie Peralta's changeup. I hope it works out that he ends up being the pitcher for our watch party on the 30th. I would love nothing more than to spend the pregame show talking about Freddie Peralta's changeup.
That would be something.
So the White Sox pitcher, the first 8 hitters, only 2 first pitch strikes. And I rewatched this game. I watched the White Sox announcers coverage of it. So I got the alternate perspective of it after watching it from the Brewers perspective on Saturday night. He was trying to get ahead of Jackson Churriel, and that's where the hanging slider came. And Jackson said, nope, no freebies. So Jackson Churriel being the 9th hitter, knowing that only 25% of the hitters before him have seen first pitch strikes, and knowing that pitcher is going to try to get ahead of you, so you know you're probably getting a strike, Jackson Churriel was just like, all right, I'm looking for a strike. And he got the pitch he was looking for in a bad spot.
Can I start a dialogue real quick?
Go ahead.
I saw a comment today about Churriel, and people were complaining, why is he not in the lineup against a right-handed pitcher? He's never going to turn into the guy that we think he's going to be, blah, 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 whatever. Shove it up your ass. I don't care what you have to say because you have a dumbass opinion. Dude, if there's one thing the Brewers know how to do, let's give them credit for knowing how to develop talent. If nothing else, these guys know how to develop talent. I could start naming a long list of people, not just pitchers, that they have developed. He is literally 20 years old.
Yeah.
He's making big boy money.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, in the form of business, when there is an investment into something, into that business that can make that business more money, they're going to do everything they can and be very careful. They've done some great things with Ortiz, giving him off days on certain days. People complained about that. It's working. Bryce Terang, he struggled at the plate last year. He went to work. There's all the talk about him being with his dad. That's great. I'm sure the Brewers had a hand in it. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll go with the feel-good story that his dad gets all the credit. I'm fine with that. It's a great story. But I'm sure the Brewers coaching had credit in that. Let the kid develop. He's 20. Yeah. He can't even legally have a beer with us. And this state loves drinking beer. Not me personally, not you. But I'm telling you, this state does. And he can't buy one right now legally. He is young. Give him time, people. I mean, my goodness.
That's another one of the things where it's like trying to force development, trying to force everything. Like, just let stuff happen.
It's almost that conversation. I forgot who the heck it was. It actually might have been Kevin Hart. But I was watching him do an interview one time, and he was talking about how, getting heckled from fans and stuff like that. And he's like, the thing that people don't understand about the people that actually make it is like, they don't see all the work you put in. So he said a line, and it stuck with me forever. I remember it very clearly. Everybody wants to be famous. Nobody wants to put the work in. Let Churriel, let the Brewers pitching staff or hitting coaches the managers. Let them do their work.
Yep.
Okay? We don't have to just usher him into superstardom. The kid's got all the talent. There's no complaining about that, right?
Yep.
That's why he got paid the money, for the potential of it. He's a 5-tool guy. Okay? So let's just let Jackson Churrio's career play out, how it's going to play out, instead of you going on the social media on every app under the book and being like, why isn't he ever his right-handed pitchers? And I swear to God, next year, if he's mashing right-handed pitchers and I see some stupid-ass dude go, they should have let him hit for his right-handers last year. This would have been happening last year. I swear to God, I'm going to lose it. I swear, dude. I don't want to deal with that.
We have to just let stuff happen. Stop trying to force it. We are 2 months and a week into his career.
Come on. Really? Like, really?
He's here for the next 8 years.
Yeah,
we are 2 months into an 8-year contract. Let's just calm down a little bit. Let stuff happen.
I agreed.
On your conversation on Joey Ortiz, both of his hits that he had to the opposite field. So Joey Ortiz starting to maybe be rubbed off on by William Contreras a little bit in his approach.
Love that. I mean, and
I don't know that for a fact. Just saying, he's being around it a lot, seeing it a lot.
I mean, it can't be a bad thing to be around guys like Yelly and Contreras, guys that have been around the block a few times, seen every pitch under the book, been in every single pressure situation. I mean, it's a good thing to be around those kind of guys, right?
I mean, I would say it's working on Terang too. He's gone to the opposite field a little bit more too.
Agreed. And I love it. Love it.
I want to talk on the bullpen guys. Kevin Herget, his changeup, eating the White Sox alive.
Yeah,
his changeup was nasty against the White Sox. It only took him 23 pitches to go through 2 innings. Then we get to Enoli Paredes, who pitched 2 innings, only gave up 1 hit, did have a hit by pitch, but no walks, no runs. Only took him 13 pitches to get through 2 innings.
Yeah.
The bullpen was fantastic. Give me your 7th inning or later stats, and then I want to have one more conversation.
So shout out to Watson, fan of the show here. But Brewers scored 27 runs in 7th inning or later in the 7-game homestand.
Sheesh.
14 versus the Cubs, 13 versus the White Sox. So more versus the Cubs. That made me chuckle. The team slashes 383 average, a 468 on base percentage, a 543 slug, and a 1,011 OPS with 7 extra base hits. That's in the 7th inning or later. Now listen to this Willy Adames. Willy Adames in the 7th inning or later, just the homestand. He had a 667 average with an OPS of 2.03.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And 9 RBI. And everybody should have saw the stat last night about Gary Sanchez having 7 RBIs and 3 hits in the 7th inning or later over the homestand. So, I mean, the Brewers were just mashing.
Yeah, you could say that. The last conversation we need to have. Tommy Pham is soft. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you're a fan of. Tommy Pham is soft. Soft. Charmin Ultra soft. I had a White Sox fan go, did you even see what happened? Yes. And Tommy Pham is soft.
Dude, Pham damn near ran over the pitcher's mound. That's how far inside he was.
Dude, the fact is, the Brewers were fired up about an ending double play, a catch him out, throw him out, double play to end the game, end the inning in a close game.
Mm-hmm.
His team literally did the same thing in the bottom of the 7th after a home run was robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see anybody getting mad that people getting pumped up about a home run being robbed in a close game.
No shadow boxing.
Oh, but now you're all bent out of shape that the Brewers are pumped up that they got an inning double play at the plate.
Yeah, his interview after the game.
Dude,
come on.
So dumb.
Come on, bro.
Even so, I made the point, or I made the comment that I was watching the White Sox broadcast of this. Even the White Sox announcers didn't really know what his deal was.
Yeah.
They made a point to say it like 4 times that it was a clean play.
It was.
It was a baseball play.
Yeah.
Unless William Contreras got up and started saying a bunch of like disrespectful things to him, which I highly, highly doubt is the case. Well, why are you mad, bro?
Dude, I saw somebody post and they were like, Tommy Pham has to be the last guy in Major League Baseball that you want to mess with. I said, one, Aaron Judge is 6'7", might be high on the list, just my opinion. Two, Contreras is about the same size as him. So, I mean, pretty even matchup in my opinion. I'm going to take Contreras.
That shouldn't even be the conversation that we're having. The conversation that we should be having is how soft Tommy Pham is.
Yeah, bro, he said.
If one of the guys from the Brewers was doing that, I'd be like, dude, they got you out. Like, go back to the dugout.
Yeah, I think part of it is, all the losses that they're sustaining. And
yep.
I think that was just a little bit of like season frustration kind of coming into one situation. Yeah. Like that was a physical play. Let's call it what it is, right? Yeah. And he's probably thinking like, why am I beating myself up if we're going to win 15 games and lose 44? I mean, yeah, it's a conversation to be had, I guess.
I agree with you that it's kind of like a culmination of frustration over things that are happening over the totality of the season. Probably also doesn't help that their manager was calling them effing flat when talking about them.
Yeah.
So that probably doesn't help. Not sure that manager is going to be around much longer. Not sure if the White Sox are going to be around much longer, to be honest with you. But it struck me as super soft. And like I said, if I was a Brewers fan and a Brewers player did that, I'd be embarrassed.
Bring back the Montreal Expos, baby. Bring them back.
Do it. Two teams in Vegas. Fuck it.
We don't need two teams in Chicago, dude. They have enough shitty sports teams, okay? They need another one? Dude, that was too
Free
easy.
the White Sox.
Bro, I didn't even have to think about that. That just, came straight. I was too easy, bro.
Like a second nature at this point.
It is.
All right. So the Brewers have 6 games between now and next Wednesday. They do play at 1:10 next Wednesday, so we will have that one for you. Yep. They are off tomorrow. Then they have 3 at Detroit, then 3 at home against Toronto. Detroit is a decent baseball team. I'd put them kind of in the same tier as the Red Sox. So I'm just looking for good baseball in that series. But I'm going to look for a 4-2 week. The Toronto Blue Jays are definitely very beatable. I'm just looking for 2 out of 3 in both series. That's what I want.
I'm with that. I'm with a 4-2 week. I think a 4-2 week from Wednesday to Wednesday for us, for everybody that's following at home here, a 4-2 week for us would be a great week. We would have a really fun episode next week.
Yeah, and I think that would be a good way for them to bounce back from where they're at. Yep. So I'd be totally okay with 4-2. Just keep winning series. Like I said, 104 games over the course of a season if you win 2 out of 3.
I agree.
Alrighty, so we will be back next Wednesday. We will see you then. Also, don't forget next Friday. Mark the calendar. Next Friday is going to be our Bucks off-season show. That is going to be draft picks, free agents, trades, combinations of all of them. So definitely tune in for that. That's going to be a really great, really informative show, and we're definitely going to promote the hell out of that over the next week and a half. So tune in for that. And then we will see you next Wednesday for more baseball. Thanks for sticking around and watching the game with us today, and join us on Patreon to watch games with us multiple times a month. So we'll see you guys next week.